Okay, welcome to this video number 3, video lecture number 3. In this particular video, we are going to be discussing about creating levels and adding dimensions, and of course creating walls on our building project. This is going to be the first video that we are going to be working on Revit itself. Okay, so we have been talking about theories all the while, but this is going to be the first practical video lecture where we'll be working in Revit. So when we talk about create levels in Revit, levels simply means stories. Okay, stories. If you are designing any building structure, you have to know the number of levels that is going to be, whether it is a bungalow, a duplex, or a high riser. Okay, now there are different methods of classification. In an American system of classification, a bungalow is termed as a one-story building, alright, while in the UK or British method of classification, a bungalow is termed as zero-story building, alright, while for a duplex in the American system is a two-story building, while a duplex in the UK system is a one-story building. So these are the various methods of classification that we have. But in these tutorials, I'm going to be using the UK system because that is what we are most familiar with in Africa. Alright, so when I mention a duplex, I'm simply talking about a one-story building. Now, in a duplex, there are 3 major levels. Alright, we have the ground floor level, the first floor level, and the roof level. Alright, these are the 3 major levels. Of course, you have other sub levels like your DPC level. Take for example, you have 3 or 4 steps below your DPC level. You have 3-4 steps before you have your ground floor. You have to create a level for that as well. So if you are designing, maybe you have some designs on your walls, all right, or your windows or your doors, you have to create levels for them, because whenever you want to do major designs on your walls or on your walls, you have to create levels for them. All right, so but the 3 major levels we have, like I said earlier, is the ground floor level, the first floor level, and your roof level, apart from the other sub levels. So in this video, we're going to be talking about how to create these levels, and then how to create walls and set the materials based on Revit's library of materials, and also how to create the dimensions professionally so that when you print out, it is going to appear very well. So let's dive right in to the Revit workspace. So this is the Revit workspace we have right here. I've already explained in the previous videos about these icons, this tab. We have the architecture tab, the structure tab, and all that, and then we have tools or icons under each tab. All right, so and this is the workspace. Now if you look at the right hand side, you are going to find the project browser. This is the project browser. Now on the project browser, you have floor plans, right? And then we have 2 default levels, level 1 and level 2. Okay, these are default levels in Revit, so you can edit them, you can add more levels as per your choice. Now we also have ceiling plans, okay, and under that we have levels as well. Now for every floor level, there is a corresponding ceiling level, right? Because Revit assumes that for every level every level represents a story, and every story must have a ceiling level as well. That is the assumption of Revit. So if you create more levels here, Revit is automatically going to create ceiling levels correspondingly. All right, so when we start working, you're going to understand what I mean. Now these are the elevations. Okay, one good thing about Revit is that as you work on your floor plan, automatically the elevations are being created. All right, and the elevations and your sections as well. You don't have to create elevations and sections separately, just like you have to do in AutoCAD. All right, so now let's get into what we have for today, creating levels. Now how do you create levels? You create levels on your elevation views. Okay, so I'm just going to click on any of the elevation I have right here, any of them, and then I'm going to see the default levels that Revit has, which is level 1 and level 2, and it is just 10 feet height. All right, this is default. So I'm not very comfortable working with feet and inches. If you are comfortable working with feet and inches, you can of course use it as it is, but I prefer metric system, which is the meters and kilometers. So I'm going to change the units of this Revit project into the metric system. So to do that, I'm going to go to my manage tab right here, and then I'm going to look for project units. This is project units, so click on it. Now this is length, right? So click on this format and then change the units to millimeters. All right, millimeters. The rounding should be 0 decimal places, and this is okay. So click on OK. Now I'm going to change the area as well. Instead of square feet, I'm going to use square millimeters. Okay, this remains the same. And then my angle, okay, I don't need volume. I don't have anything to do with the volume. Angle, of course, is in degrees, decimal degrees. So if it is not in decimal degrees, I'm going to change it to decimal degrees. Units should also be 0 decimal places. All right. So slope, currency, mass density, I don't need any of these right now. So I'm just going to click on OK, and automatically it is going to change. So 10 feet is equal to 3.048 meters. All right, if you convert. Now after changing this my units to meters to the metric system, the next thing I'm going to do is to edit the existing levels. Revit has already have the 2 default levels, so I'm going to edit them. So of course this level 1 is going to be my ground floor level, and this level 2 is going to be my first floor level, then before I start adding other levels. So I'm just going to double click on level 1, and I'm going to change it to ground floor level. Okay, very easy. Just after editing, click anywhere outside the screen and click on yes. It is going to change. Do the same thing for level 2. I'm going to change it to first floor level. Okay, yes, click on yes. Remember, click anywhere outside the screen and then click on yes. So once you do that, it has been changed. So I want my distance to be 3 meters, my story height. So I'm just going to click on this 3.48 right here, 3048, and I'm going to change it to 3 meters and click outside the screen. Yes. So this is what I have: ground floor level, first floor level. Now I need the roof level. Okay, so to add levels to Revit, you simply go back to your architecture tab and go to level right here. Click on level. Then there are 2 ways to create levels. Okay, one of them is using the line method, while the other is using the pick line method. The line method simply means if this is highlighted, you can draw your levels. Okay, you can see I can just click and drag and draw the level. All right, so but this is a stressful method. I can simply offset, use the other method. So I don't want to use this method, so I'm just going to delete it. Delete. All right, so I'm going to go back to levels, and I'm going to use the other method, which is the pick line. So what this means is, if I select pick line, I'll just have to offset this particular axis to the next by the distance that I want. Okay, the offset distance, I want it to be 3 meters as well. Okay, make sure that this make plan view is turned on. All right, make sure it's turned on. Okay, so after you enter the offset distance, you simply hover over the existing level. When you hover over it, you can see a temporary level on top. All right, it's just showing you where it will be. So if I hover over it from the bottom, it is going to appear at the bottom. You can see it at the bottom over there. If I hover over it from the top, it's going to appear at the top. You can see how I'm moving my mouse. So hover over it from the top and click. When you do that, it is going to be created. So you can edit the name and call it roof level. All right, click outside and click on OK. So it's going to be 6 meters. Now, this project that we are going to be using, that we are going to do, we are going to have a parapet. All right, a parapet below the roof, and we're going to be using a pitched roof, of course. Right. So remember to click escape whenever you finish. Click escape. So to create the parapet level is usually 500 or 600 or 800, anywhere between 500 to 800 below the roof level. That's where you have your parapet level. By the time we start designing, you are going to understand what I mean better. So, but we're going to have a parapet level 600 below the roof level. So how do I do that? I'll go back to level here. Remember, under the architecture tab, that's where you're going to find level. So click on level. Enter the offset, which is going to be 600. All right. Now hover over. Remember, you are using pick lines. So pick lines. Now hover over this level from the bottom, because I want the new level to be created below. All right. So hover over it from the bottom. Don't hover from the top. Hover from the bottom, and then rename it as parapet level. Okay, and then click on yes. So now you can see, remember, escape. So roof level and parapet level are overlapping, and I don't want that. It's not looking nice. So I have to move the parapet away so that it will be clear and neat. All right. So if I select the parapet level and I try to move, you can see that it is moving everything along. All right. But meanwhile, I just want to move only the parapet level. So I'm going to do Ctrl-Z to go back to the original state. And then click on parapet. Unlock this parapet level. All right. So if I unlock it, I can now move it independently. All right. Move it independently. So it's going to be separate and it's going to be neat. Now I also have my DPC level, okay, or my step level. In this project, we are going to be having 3 steps before the DPC. All right. So in other words, we are going, one step is usually 150 that is the riser, right? One step is usually 150 height. So 3 steps is going to be 450 height, right? So I'm going to create another level that is 450 below the ground floor level. That's going to be my step level. Okay, so go back to level, use pick lines, offset is 450, then hover over the ground floor. All right, from below, and then click on it, and then set this as, let me call it step level. Okay, step level. Yes. So unlock it and then move it independently to the right. I want it to be aligned to the first one, to the parapet level on top, so you can see it is aligned. You can just click on OK. So it is negative simply because it is below the ground floor level. That is why it's minus 450. All right. So we have one more level, the rooftop. All right. So remember, this is the parapet level. This is where the parapet is going to be, and then this is the roof level. Then we'll need to create a level for the rooftop, where the roof is going to end. In this building, like I said, we are using a pitched roof. So I'm going to go to level, pick lines. My roof, normally a residential building, 4 meters, 4.5 meters, 5 meters, or 6 meters. All right, any one of you. depending on the size of the building. There's actually a way to calculate the height of a roof. Probably in subsequent videos I'm going to show you how you can actually calculate what should be the height of your roof. But it should, a normal residential building like this, it should be anywhere between 4 meters to 6 meters. So I'm going to use 4.5 meters. So my offset 4.5 meters, pick lines, then hover over this, and then create it. So I'm going to call it roof top level. All right, so and then click on yes. So this is all about my level. So as we continue designing, remember to click escape. As we continue designing, we might need to create more levels, okay, because of maybe designs on walls or in windows or what have you. So we can simply come back to elevations, create a level, and use it to do what you want to do. But these are the basic levels that we're going to be having from the start. All right, so after creating levels, you observe that as you edit the names, they also reflect on the project browser right here. So this is for navigation purpose. So if you click on a ground floor level, whatever you do on the ground floor is going to be shown here. Okay, if you go to the first floor level, whatever you do on the first floor is going to be shown here. So this is where you navigate through your levels, right? And like I said earlier, corresponding ceiling levels are created alongside, but these are not necessary for now. And then we have our elevations. So after creating levels, the next thing we are going to do is to create our walls and then add dimensions. So we're going to create, I'm going to show you how to create a wall. This is the material of the wall, a random wall, and how you can add your dimensions to it. Now, to create walls, you simply go to the architecture tab, all right, and then go to your wall command. Okay, click on your wall command. When you do that, you are going to, under the properties section, you can see their default walls. This is basic wall, generic 8 inches. All right, this is basic Revit basic wall. So if you click on it, you are going to see more generic or more wall options. Okay, different sizes. You also have curtain walls or glass walls, and then you have stacked walls as well. So these are Revit's default types of walls, but of course we don't want to use any of this. We want to create our own custom wall. Okay, so to do that, you simply click on edit type right here. Click on edit type. So when you click on edit type, it gives you the ability to edit the wall. Now we don't want to edit Revit's default wall. It's not a good idea. We need to duplicate it and then edit the duplicated version so that the original version of this wall will still be there, just in case we need it at any point in time. You never can tell. So always duplicate. The same thing applies to other components like your doors, your windows, your whatever component. Always duplicate before you make any editing. Okay, so I'm going to duplicate and I'm going to name it as external wall. Okay, and then I'm going to click on OK. So whatever editing I'm doing, I am doing it on my own duplicated version. So I'm now going to click on edit here. Now there are two major things we are going to do here. One is to edit the thickness of the wall, the other is to edit the material of the wall. Okay, so to edit the thickness of the wall, this is it. By default, you can see that it was 8 inches. That 8 inches after conversion, it is 203.2 millimeters. All right, so I like using 9 inches wall. Okay, so and that is 225. Of course, most people also you can use 150 mm wall as well. So you just enter the dimension as 150 mm here. Okay, then under materials, okay, you can see this second line here, which is by category. When you click on it, you are going to see a small icon by the side. Okay, this is it. So click on that small icon. it is going to load Revit's library of materials. Revit has a library of materials that you can choose from, okay, for any of your components. Okay, you have your acoustic ceiling, there are many of them. You have carpets, bricks, soda, course, concrete. There are a lot of them. These are just few, there are still more. All right, so I'm going to show you how you can get more. But the thing is, Revit is not very good in the materials and rendering. Okay, so if you select materials in Revit and render in Revit, the quality is not very good. It's not going to be so nice compared to other rendering software. So what we do is we model in Revit and then we export it to a good rendering software. There are a lot of rendering software out there, so we are going to export it to a good rendering software to add proper materials and to render it out so that the picture quality will be very good. So however, Revit has its own library and you can also use it if you wish. If you don't want to use any other software, you can do everything in Revit. You can add materials, you can render out in Revit, you can do everything, but just that the output is not going to be very good compared to other softwares. Okay, so these are some materials we have here. So if you want to, I don't want to edit any of these materials, I want to create a new material. So I'll just click on this icon here, okay, and then click on create new material. So you can see default new material. All right, so I want to rename it. So right click on it and click on rename. So I'm going to rename it as external wall material. Okay, so I don't know what material is this exactly, but I want to use my own material. So I'll just click on, while it is still selected, I'll just click on this icon here. Okay, open closes asset browser. So click on this icon here, you're going to see hundreds of more materials in Revit. So these are different materials you can choose from. You have cobblestone, you have clear reflective, this is glass, and this is clear lake, this is for water, this is so there are a lot of them. This is for cherry, this, I believe this is wooden material. Cherry is wood. Ceramic, ceramic, carbon fiber. So if you go to appearance library, just click on this small arrow here. You can now select the I think these are all the materials listed here. So if you want to select them by their name, you can just come here under appearance library. You can see the material for flooring. You can click on this arrow here. You can see carpets. All these are carpet materials. You can see stone, you can see tile. So there are a lot of them. Wood. Okay, these are materials for glass, glazing. So you can use any of them of your choice. This is masonry. This is roofing. Okay, these are materials for roofing you can use. So we are dealing with walls. So let me use wall paints. Okay, so click on wall paints. So there are different materials for wall paints here. Let me look for the one I can use. Let me go for this flat antique white, or okay, let me go for cool white. Okay, cool white. So when you see the material you want to use, you can simply click on this icon here. So this means it replaces the current asset in the editor with this asset. So when you click on this particular icon, what happens is that the default material that is here is going to be changed to this one. So let me click on it. You can see it is currently updating. You can see it has been replaced. All right, so I'm using cool white. So after you select the material, you just close it. So this is appearance. Okay, this means this is how it's going to appear in your 3D view. Okay, and then this is graphics. This is how it's going to appear in your plan view. This is the color that's going to appear in your plan view. So I want the color to be white also, so I'll just click on this and change it to white. I can use any color, how the color that will be on the plan view. All right, so, and then I'm going to click on OK. So transparency, if you want it to be transparent, there's no need for that. There's no need for transparency. This is surface pattern. This means if you cut a section across the wall, how do you want it to appear? So if I click on this, I'm going to see different patterns. All right, so I don't think there's a wall pattern here. Okay, this is masonry concrete brick. This is brick. You can use any of them of your choice. This is for your section. All right, your section. If you are cutting a section across the wall, how it will be. I think this is okay. This pattern is okay for wall, or you can use any of them if you wish. You can also create new ones as well. So just click on OK. Now the color of the pattern when you cut a section, all this doesn't matter anyways. It doesn't matter. So the only thing that matters is the color of your graphics, which is this. You change it to white, and also click on render appearance. Use render appearance. So this is it. So after selecting the material, you simply click on apply and you click on OK. So after that, you simply click on OK as well and click on OK again. So when you do that, you are now ready to start drawing your wall. So let's just draw a random wall. So you can see as I'm drawing, it is showing me the dimension. This is 6 meters, 7 meters, 8 meters. So that's the beauty of Revit. It makes your modeling to be very, very easy. The dimension is showing and it is aligned as well. So this is a random building. I'm going to escape. After doing anything, always escape. So this is the plan, random plan that I just made. So if I want to see the 3D, I'll just go to view here. Now this is 3D view. If I click on this arrow here, I'm going to see the first 3D view camera walkthrough. This camera is if you want to take a picture of your building after you are finished, you can use this. Why this is if you want to make a walkthrough. If you want to walk through the building and see how it looks inside, this is what we are going to use. So I want to see the default 3D view. So I'll click on it and this is it right here. All right. So right now it doesn't have any color. So if I want to see the realistic view, I'll simply click on this icon here, this visual style. Currently it is on hidden line. So if I click on it, this is what it is right now, hidden line. But I want to see the realistic view, so I click on realistic. This is, so you can see the cool white, that cool white color we selected. This is how it looks on 3D. Yes, this is how it looks on 3D. So you can pan with your mouse. I'm holding the center button of my mouse. Remember, if you want to do Revit, you have to have your mouse, right? So I'm panning with the center point of my mouse, right? So if I want to orbit, I want to see around, I'll just click on this icon here and then I click on orbit. I can orbit round. All right, I can orbit round anyhow I want, up, down, or wherever. All right, I can also zoom in and zoom out, zoom in and zoom out. This I can also do that with my mouse. The same thing with pan. I can also pan with my mouse. So I only make use of this wheel when I want to orbit. Because I can do the other things with my mouse. I can pan with my mouse, and yeah, I can zoom also with my mouse. Okay, so this is how the 3D view looks. So this is just a random wall creation. So if I go back to my ground floor, okay, I created this at the first floor, which is not supposed to be. So it's supposed to be on ground floor. Now the reason what I have to do is to put the restrictions, like where the wall is supposed to start from and where it is supposed to end. Okay, Normally, before I created this, I'm supposed to go to ground floor level and create it on the ground floor level, but I think I created it on the first floor level. So to change that, I simply go back to architecture, select the wall, all right, select the wall, and then here you can see base constraint is first floor level. So I'm going to set the base constraint as ground floor level, okay, and set the top constraint as first floor level. So it means the wall is going to start from ground floor and it is going to end in first floor. So if I want to elevate the ground floor, I can simply enter the offset distance I want to elevate it by. If I want to elevate the top, I can also enter the offset distance. We're going to talk about this later on. So, but then the base constraint is ground floor and the top constraint is first floor, and then click on apply. When you click on apply, you can see that the ground floor is now where we have our building, and the first floor is just like this, transparent, because we don't have anything on the first floor. We only have our drawing on the ground floor, right? So we would not have anything on the parapet, of course. We will not have anything on all these places. So this is what we have. So you can also go to the 3D from here, all right? So when you click on this, click on 3D, you can also see the 3D from here. Okay, so this is how you create your wall and add materials in Revit. Now, how about dimensions? Very easy. So you go back to ground floor level. How do you add dimensions? You go to your annotate tab. You go to your annotate tab and then pick linear. There are different methods of dimension. You have the aligned, you have the linear, you have the angular. This is for angular dimensions. You have a diameter, radial, arc length. There are many of them. And also you can add your tests and your other tools as well. So I'm going to use linear. When I pick linear, I can pick the first point I want to dimension and pick the next point and drag it out. Alright, drag it out and then click on escape. The dimension is going to be created. If I want to edit this dimension to my own taste, maybe I want to change the font size, I want to change the color, I'll simply click on it and then go to edit type, just as we did for walls. Remember I said this applies to every component, both doors, windows. You can edit Revit's default component. So by default, it is using linear dimension style, which is this. So I want to use my own. So I'm going to click on edit type. Now remember, always duplicate. So I'm going to say my dimensions and click on OK. Okay. So you can look for what you want to edit here. I want to edit the color of the dimension. I want to use this green color and then click on OK. Then the tests, I want to make it bold. Okay. Test size, I want to make it bigger. Let me see how 5.0 will look. Test offset simply means the distance between the test and the line, this line. So I think that is okay. I don't have to increase or decrease it. Test fonts, I normally love using Verdana. So you can use any test fonts. There are a lot of test fonts here. So Verdana is cool. Units, this unit format is okay and everything is okay. Yes, I think everything is okay. So you can edit whatever you want to edit right here. Tick mark, this tick mark simply means this, right? This. So if you want to make it bigger or smaller, you can always do that. Right now it is 1/8 inches. So I can increase or decrease it as per my choice, right? So, but I think what I have is okay. Is okay. So after that, I'll just click on OK. So this is, I think it is too big. Let me reduce the test size. where's my test size? This is it. Let me make it 2.5. 2.5 is cool. So and then click on OK. Yes, so this is it. So I can now apply the same thing to other dimensions. So linear, pick the first and second point and then take it out. The same thing applies to this. Remember, when you finish the dimension, always click outside so that it will be cleaned. Pick this, pick it out. Pick this, take it out. Pick this, take it out. Yes, so you can see that it is using the default dimension, it is not using my own. So what I'm going to do, I can either select all the dimensions one by one by holding down Control and selecting all of them, or I can simply highlight everything. You can see how I'm highlighting. I hold my mouse and drag, highlight everything, and then filter the walls out. I want to highlight only dimensions. So after highlighting everything, I can click on filter here and remove walls. I only want dimensions to be highlighted, so I'm going to click on OK. So only the dimensions will be highlighted. So after doing that, I can now click on this and choose my own dimension that I created. If you scroll down, you're going to see it, my dimensions. So after that, I'm going to click outside. So all the dimensions that I used is now replaced. Alright, so if I don't want the dimension to be close to the building, I can simply select and drag it out. Alright, drag it out. Okay, so that it will be neat. Drag it out. Okay, likewise this, drag it out, drag this out. So this is basically how you can create your walls, apply your materials, and also create your dimensions. Okay, very important and easy. All right, so we're going to stop this video right here, and in the next video we're going to create a proper floor plan, put our dimensions, add the components and everything that we need that needs to be added. So you can practice this particular creating of walls and dimensions on your own, so that you can get used to it. It's very easy. This is a 3D view, and this is your beating. Escape, always escape, right? Escape. So I've come to the end of this video. I'm going to see you in the next video. Thank you.